What's up guys, in this video we are going to be going over some pretty crazy nerfs that have just been announced, so let's drop right into it. Okay, so looks like what I said about the nerfs all coming at once to like everything in the meta is actually going to be true now. So here we go, drones. We're getting a Kestrel nerf, which is really annoying because that is literally, it was the best drone in the game until now. Also, the whiteout is getting a damage buff for some reason, but yeah, motherships, the mute's getting a duration nerf for the blindness and EMP, which is really good because that thing is so annoying. But unfortunately, the paladin is also getting quite a considerable nerf to the shield, the repair, and also the grade durability that it repairs as well. So that's going to affect a lot of people because even I still run the paladin even though it's really old. And if I was completely honest, I thought it would be pretty nerf proof by now just because of its age, but I guess not. Now, on to Titans. The Arthur's actually getting a buff. It's getting 10% blast wave damage, so okay. The Newton, finally, its nerf is coming. Minus 20% health, the choke duration has been almost halved, and the cooldown has got 3 seconds as well, but you can no longer break free from choke. I'm not really sure what the point of that is, because you couldn't break it anyway. But look at this, long shot damage has been nerfed, but it's now been given an extra 300 meter range. That is crazy. Now, the Fulgur and Tonans, they've also been nerfed quite a lot, but I'll get onto those afterwards. Another one that I guess I kind of saw coming, I tried to convince people this, but they didn't listen. I knew the Rook wasn't safe, which is why I moved away from mine. Fair enough, I was a bit early, but I knew that they were going to destroy this. The Rook, the casting damage has been nerfed 15%, the suppression's been nerfed 15% as well, and the grade damage reduction has also been nerfed by 10%. Also, this thing's going to get indirectly nerfed because there are currently rumors that the new Titan is coming out, which is basically the Rook, or it's supposed to be really tanky, and it's going to have flamethrower weapons, which go right through the Rook's shield. So I think that's going to be the end of the Rook in the meta at last, but it has actually lasted a long time. Also, just quickly to mention, the Sirius is getting a minor buff, but I don't really think that's going to do anything to help it. Right, this is where we say goodbye to the meta. So, the Erebus, first off, is getting a shield regeneration rate buff by 10%. Now, the Ochakochi, a 25% durability nerf, which is really what it needed, and an increased ability cooldown. And the ability effect, so that's all incoming damage turned to corrosion, that's only going to work during the charge phase. So when you're like walking normally, but you still have the charge effect around you, you'll be taking regular grey damage. Finally, the Athenian's getting nerfed again, because I swear the first one never even happened. So we're getting quite a considerable speed nerf, and the built-in weapon range is getting changed from 500 to 350. Let's go. It's also going to be harder to hit with it by 20%, I think. Also, the flight duration is now, it's only going to be in flight for 5 seconds. That is crazy. We all knew this was coming, though, because so many people have the Athenian now that it was just obvious it was going to get nerfed. And yeah, it's going to be really slow in flight now as well, so it's going to be absolutely useless. Can't say that I'm not glad about this one, but oh well, on to the next one. Next one's a buff. The Siren's getting a reflector buff, so that's interesting, and the Wayland's getting a small buff as well. Titan weapons, the Basilisk is getting buffed, damage 10%, and corrosion is getting a 5% buff. The Cinder's getting a range buff and a 1 second off the reload. I don't think much of these will really do anything. The Grom's getting buffed, also the Squall. Now for the important one, the Tonans and Fulgur. 35% damage nerf. But the Titan damage modifier, so it'll do 100% more damage to Titans. And the reload is almost tripling. So it apparently was 5 seconds. I swear it was 8 seconds, but apparently not. Now it's going to be 12 seconds. So that is going to be really serious. Looks like we'll finally see the Newton take a back step in the meta. Now, regular weapons, Arbalest, 20% damage buff, completely random. The Bane's getting a 10% damage buff, same with the Cryo. Flux is getting a 7% buff. The Hydra is getting buffed, which is a bit random. The Ion, whatever, is getting a 5% buff. Now, this one is interesting. The Xyphos, Labris, and Cestus, so the grenade weapons, they are getting a 15% damage nerf. which is kind of surprising because these weapons were actually alright. I wouldn't really have said that they were overpowered. They're also getting a 15% nerf to the speed of the blast charge, so that one really came out of the blue. That one was surprising because these weapons were actually alright. The Spark is getting a 10% damage buff, and this was surprising as well. The Splinter, Shatter, and Brisson are getting a 25% damage nerf. Also, the reload was apparently 3.6 seconds, which just wasn't true. And they're also getting a 100-meter range buff, so that's just a bit random. I didn't really think they were that strong anyway, but I mean, there we go. Now, this is the crazy one. The Tamer and Damper are getting their range toned down to 500 meters. And the healing, so that's the actual problem, the fact that you can't heal from them, that's going from 90% to 60%, so surely that will make some difference, but I don't know. I think it's still going to take a little bit more nerfs to actually get rid of those weapons from the meta. Now, the Trickster and Deceiver are also getting 100 meters off their range, and the dispersion is changing, whatever that means. And randomly, to finish up, the Volt's getting a 5% damage buff. So, this is actually crazy. So, we're going to be losing the Ochikochi, probably, and definitely the Afian from the meta, because that is going to be absolutely useless now. A few of the weapons, the Xyphos, all those, and the blast shotguns, not blast shotguns, what are they called? The Splinter and that. I would have said that they didn't really need a nerf, but I mean, I guess too many people have them now, so that's probably why. I'm glad about the Afian nerf, definitely, and the Ochikochi. Same with the Newton. I knew that that would come eventually. We all did. But this new Titan that they're leaking that supposedly has flamethrowers, that's going to be insane. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on all of these nerfs. And as always, if you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.